Do you remember the Motorola Razr? The craze for the slim cell phones? What happened?
Remember this? To this. What happened to this?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me fail?
Yes, I can.
Good. Stupid Razr. Some Razr this thing is. It can't even cut butter. Look at that. It can't even cut butter. Yeah, remember the whole, thin and light smartphone craze? You had the Razr, the Crazer, the Laser and Blazer and Taser and the Katana and the BWOne and the whatever, the bamboo stick.
It was a whole craze and period with thin phones, and don't get me wrong, I mean, there's a place for it. There's a place for every type of cell phone there is, thin phones, and my mom doesn't use smartphones. For her, it works perfect, that kind of thing. But, there was this whole craze because the Razr picked up, it sold 100 million, best ever selling cell phone ever. iPhone will never smell that. So you guys can start dreaming about that.
Just to put in a tip here, if you still own a Motorola Razr, this thing, you fail. You fail simply because of the fact you get this in the prepaid. No. You are not exclusive anymore if you have a Motorola Razr. I'm just telling you that right now. If you are rocking a Razr phone, you fail. Good day.
Okay, but all right, but why the switch? Why that move from everyone wanted a thin, sexy, slim
to now the big and
to now
big, bulky, powerful. I shouldn't say bulky, but big powerhouses now.
Powerhouses, yeah. I mean, what's the move from the I won't say the Ferrari to the truck, but it's almost like a move to an SUV. Status.
We went from the sort of the Kia to the BMW SUV.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, why that move? I mean, one of the things I think is because a couple of things. I think social networking was one big part that played in. Facebook, Facebook updates. People want to get in touch with that. Same thing as Twitter. I think another thing is, I personally think things like the Sidekick, even though it's a smaller segment, but it showed that people wanted to have a device where they had some kind of connectivity, some kind of social networking, or the ability to free type in almost like a keyboard, and that ability to text that way was a lot of things that I think helped in that switch. That's not the only thing, but
I think, and not to touch on that point, I think what happened is that basically everybody wanted the all-in-one device. It got to that point. I think what started is people started to pick up text messaging. Yeah. It started to become, in case anybody knows, the U.S. was very far behind some of the other countries that were already doing the text messaging, and I think because we just never adopted the T9 and those sort of predictive text styles as quickly as other countries did. The keyboard became the popular thing to have, and then when you got the keyboards into the, all right, can I take text messages now? Can I get email? Can I get on the web? Can I take pictures and all that stuff? And it's boom, the whole smartphone craze comes out, and Blackberry jumped on that right away and went straight into that, and went to saw that, went to the consumer market and ran with it.
Right, exactly. I mean, and I think that's, like you said, that's key. Just the whole all-in-one device, and of course with that you get faster processors, and you will need a bigger phone. You can't squeeze into a Razr. No, it's just not possible yet. But you need all that, and the move, and also the fact that and then you have people like Apple who changed the game also in that sense, where they came out with the iPhone, and that just put a whole new dynamic. You're saying, okay, I can do all these things with my phone. I mean, you could do it with Windows Mobile, but Windows Mobile didn't actually sexify it to the market. Let's put it that way.
Palm and you could do those things, but they didn't bring out the right packaging and the right user experience that Apple did. What I always think is funny is Apple says, the iPhone's so sexy, you can fit it in your pocket like it's thin and light, like what it's just like, come on.
The Razr was the thin and light phone, and maybe I think there were one or two from Nokia.
You fail if you still have this.
I think there were one or two from Nokia, and other providers did their own versions of the thin and light phones. But I think, like you said, you jump from iPhone and then you go to stuff like Android, where it's almost. I think what they fail to do, and I think they should do, is literally sell, like the Nexus, which we spoke about, the phone, as Google in your pocket. because Google is not just a word or a service or product. It's part of our vocab.
It's pop culture.
Yeah, it is.
It's Americana right now, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
Google is what it is. Google is as big as a name as Microsoft, as big as a name as, you know, as any other company out there. And to have Google in your pocket to be able to search, browse, email, map, calendar, all that stuff, simple, easy to use, and free, and it's right in your pocket. And definitely Google should kind of head towards that way.
Right.
But I think that's the main reason why we went from the thin and light craze to now to the smartphone craze, where we want everything all in one. We want to do everything integrated in one, and we don't care what the size is.
Yeah.
But then now the sizes are starting to come down a little bit, but then you still have a give and take with that.
Oh yeah, you do. And I think it's quite clear. I mean, we are a market of, me, I want now. I mean, you want your sports scores now. Before, you just had to run on the computer. Now you're like, I can't even wait to take 10 steps.
Exactly.
I want it on my phone. So we've our consumer market, breeds that, and since we have all these diverging technologies coming together, it's easy for us to to move that way.
And also the multimedia craze too. People wanted to listen to their music, wanted to watch videos, watch YouTube, to watch TV right on their phone. I think that really became sort of another element of where that thin and light just didn't really work out well. Obviously, the perfect example of that was the Motorola Rocker BWOne.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that? Do you remember that with iTunes?
See, I think the thin phones can still survive in the market. It's how it's made and produced. For instance, I think a company who could do that is Blackberry, because the way their phones are set up.
I have to argue against that. And I was just talking to somebody earlier about this. If that was the case, they come in with that. The last 6 new phones BlackBerry's come out with have not followed any of the Pearl status whatsoever. I think they know that was not as successful as they may have wanted it to have been.
True, but the Pearl died. The Pearl was still successful, but the Pearl, what killed them with the Pearl was the design itself, not the Pearl itself. Because think about it, the Pearl can't. I'm not saying you're gonna go as thin and sexy looking like the Razr, or as thin as the Razr. Forget that. But you can make thin, small, lighter phones that have some of that BlackBerry capability. Because I think BlackBerry, for instance, as a company.
But they tried that again with the BlackBerry flip phone, and it didn't work.
It was a poorly designed phone again.
But that's the thing. If it's a poorly designed phone and you design it thin and light, then
true. I mean,
can they go with that?
Yeah, but the thing is that what I'm saying is that it's almost like saying, if you had, we agree the Razr was thin and sexy for its time. So if you had a complement of the Razr now, and you threw in the BlackBerry OS, you don't throw anything else on that. You threw in the BlackBerry OS, you can have something that could work. Because there's a market for there are a lot of people.
But they do have that. It's called the BlackBerry Tour. That's about as thin and as light as probably they can get with their phones.
I think they can go. I think they can go a little bit more.
I mean, I think the thinnest and lightest and sexy smartphones are right now are 2. It's the Apple iPhone and I think the Motorola DROID. That's the only 2 that are really on that level.
On that level.
But I think BlackBerry can only go. They're only I seriously think that before they get into the Samsung Jack status of things,
no,
they can go that thin. But I think BlackBerry won't go that thin. The keyboard is their name to fame.
No,
come out of that.
You don't take it away. But the thing about I think BlackBerry is also killing them half the ways that the reason BlackBerry is still a mainstay is it's like a funny dichotomy. You take the iPhone. A lot of people buy the iPhone because their friends have the iPhone.
Yeah.
They really don't know how to use anything. A lot of people who use Blackberries also do because it's either they use it at work or a friend has a BlackBerry, and they still will never use half of the stuff in the phone.
I got a gripe with BlackBerry users. The people that buy Blackberries, the reason we're kind of talking about that, we should be relating Blackberries to Razrs, because Blackberry is the Razr of the PDAs.
Yes.
If you think about it in the market, it's that low-end cost.
Exactly.
It doesn't do half of what Android and Apple iPhone OS can really do. But it's sort of that popular phone that everybody has I call it to look important, like they're doing something.
See, that's the reason why I said, because there are a lot of people who do not want to get a touchscreen phone still. Because they're like, what am I going to do with all that stuff? I personally have a friend and coworker who She's like, I don't need a Motorola Droid. I don't need an Android or iPhone. I just want a regular phone. You know, which like I said, BlackBerry can, their OS is light enough to go to that market, and you can come up with whoever's designing this stuff is doing a piss poor job. That's literally what it is. Because you have to me, there's a market there. People see from an older generation who are like, yeah, I want to receive.
All the generations buying iPhones.
Wait. But not all of them. There's still a lot of
too much of an amount for my
maybe for you, but there's still a lot of them who go, that's all sexy, but I don't want to use all that. I just want to get text messages and I want to make phone calls. But the BlackBerry can easily come in and say, oh yeah, you can do all that, and you know,
they keep trying it.
You know, I agree they keep trying. They keep trying. To me, it's just the wrong direction because
I don't know where they're gonna go with that.
Because I think the market for the Razr is still there. You won't get that 100 million, of course, but you get a substantial amount because technically the thinnest actually would not even be a BlackBerry. I could almost argue the Pre's almost there.
Pre?
Yeah, in size. It's a very small, cute phone. I mean, slide out,
But then that defeats the smartphone thing of having the big screen. And
yeah, but it is a smartphone.
It is a smartphone.
Yeah,
it's a smartphone.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Is that the market is there.
The market's there.
It's who capitalized, who's smart enough to say, you know, let's put this in. Actually, you think about it, HTC has a couple of phones in that their whole downstream that look kind of smallish.
Yeah,
I think it's more social. It's a social Android-based phone where it's it's almost like a feminine phone it's small. You can check your Facebook and your Twitter and not have to.
Because the only real option for ladies really is the iPhone or a pink BlackBerry.
Exactly.
I mean that's really what it is.
So
but,
I mean I think there's a market and
as you can see here, we think there's another market out there for the Razrs. We're not sure where that's going to go for the thin and lights in the PDA market. We relate BlackBerry to sort of the Razr or the PDA, seeing it's on the same level now. Mm-hmm. Will it hold its popularity against some of the others out there? We don't know yet. Is it going to go the way of the Razr? We're not sure yet.
Remember the first tech shout out where we talked about how Motorola needed to keep its BlackBerry needed to keep its OS or split it into two lines.
Yeah.
Because they're the only ones out of the smartphone market who make traditional looking phones. Yeah. Literally.
That's literally the only ones.
So which is why I said you can always easily create that thin, sexy line as long as you have somebody. You should just hire somebody else.
I mean, it definitely should. Well, let us know who you think BlackBerry should hire, or what do you think about the smartphone creators? What do you think about how we went from thin and light to sort of the powerhouses now of the smartphones out there? Mm-hmm. So post a comment, post a video response here on the YouTube page. You can go to borderwork.com or BWOne.com. You can have a discussion over there. We'll have the postings up there as well. So this is BWOne from BWOne.com.
And from borderwork.com.
Obviously follow us on Twitter. I'm at BWOne.com. That's BWOne, DOTCOM.
Borderwork.com.
And subscribe to the YouTube page. Click the yellow button. And always remember to live your tech world in high definition.
And enjoy the entertainment.